Nobody enjoys being stuck in long queues whilst visiting Disney, and Disneyland Paris have introduced Premier Access and most recently Premier Access Ultimate to help cut down those wait times for you. In today's video, I'm going to break down exactly what Premier Access is, what the brand new Premier Access Ultimate offers you, what rides are included, how much it will cost you, and whether it is worth the price. Hello, my name is Sophie from Most Magical Guides, and I make videos all about planning trips to Disneyland Paris and Walt Disney World to help you have your own most magical trip. If you do enjoy that kind of content, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. So let's dive in so you can find out everything you need to know about Premier Access and Premier Access Ultimate at Disneyland Paris. So Premier Access is something that has been around for a little while now, and basically it gives you the opportunity to pay per ride to join a shorter queue. The prices fluctuate depending on the rides and the time of year. The great thing about this is it offers you flexibility. You only have to pay for the rides that you want to go on. You don't have to do it for all of them. And in fact, you don't have to do it at all. It is just an optional extra. If the queue times are very long and you would like to skip that, then you can pay to join a much shorter queue. With Premier Access, you pay per person, per ride. To purchase Premier Access, you need to be inside Disneyland Paris in one of the parks, and you also need to have the app. Once you go into the app, you have an option to purchase Premier Access, and there you can scroll through and then decide which rides, and it will tell you the time slots that are available and also the prices. Once you've purchased your Premier Access pass, you will then find it inside your wallet in the My Disney Experience app. Once you open that up, you will get a QR code, and you just scan this at the Premier Access entrance and you're all ready to go. If you don't have a smartphone, then you can buy Premier Access passes from City Hall in Disneyland Park and from Studio Services in Walt Disney Studios Park. Children under the age of 3 do not need to purchase Premier Access passes. They can ride with an adult that has Premier Access passes. You can only buy one Premier Access pass at a time, but you can purchase them back to back. So once you've used yours, you can then purchase another one. So these are the rides that have Premier Access at Disneyland Paris. Big Thunder Mountain, Phantom Manor, Peter Pan's Flight, Ratatouille the Adventure, Buzz Lightyear Laser Blast, Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain, Star Tours The Adventure Continues, The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, Autopia, Orbitron, Cars Road Trip, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril, Crush's Coaster. The prices range from around €5 to about €16, but these fluctuate depending on the time of the year, how busy the parks are and how popular it is to buy Premier Access that day. Rides such as Crush's Coaster and Big Thunder Mountain have the highest price points, while rides such as Orbitron or Autopia have the lowest price points. During my May 2022 trip, I actually tried out Premier Access for the first time. Big Thunder Mountain is my favourite ride at Disneyland Paris, and the queue had been over an hour during my entire trip, and I didn't want to leave without going on it, so I was like, do you know what, I'm going to try Premier Access and see what it is like. Now I have to say it was a fantastic experience. I scanned, I went through the Premier Access line, and I got straight on to the next ride. No queue whatsoever. So if there is a ride that you absolutely cannot miss, it could be worth getting a Premier Access pass if you are visiting during a time of the year where the queues are very long. You can also get Premier Access passes for 2 shows at Disneyland Paris. You can buy them for Mickey and the Magician in Walt Disney Studios Park and for Rhythm of the Pride Lands, which is the Lion King show in Disneyland Park. These Premier Access passes cost you €15 per person. The great thing about Premier Access for these shows is it does help cut down your wait time. People do tend to start queuing around an hour or more before the shows, particularly for Lion King, and this can mean standing around for a very long time. Depending on the weather, that's not always enjoyable. With Premier Access passes, you are recommended to get there 30 minutes beforehand. I think you could even arrive a little later than that if you wanted, and you would get into a much shorter queue, so you're not standing around for so long, which is fantastic. Plus, you also get to enter first, so you get your choice of whichever seats you would like to sit in. I also did Premier Access for Mickey and the Magician during my last trip. I'd had a foot injury, so I didn't really want to stand on the spot for an hour waiting. So I tried the Premier Access out, and and I really enjoyed it. The queue time, I didn't have to wait very long at all, and then the fact that you get to go in and pick from any seat in the auditorium was really fantastic. These shows are very popular, so they do hit capacity often, and this is why Premier Access could be a really helpful thing for you because it guarantees your spot. To purchase Premier Access passes for these shows, you can either do it ahead of your trip via the website if you've made a booking with Disney themselves, or you can book via the app when you are at Disneyland Paris. You can purchase Premier Access for the shows ahead of your trip, unlike the rides which you have to book on the day. So this can be great if you know in advance that you would really like to have Premier Access, and then you know you've secured your seat. So something that is brand new at Disneyland Paris that launched this summer is Premier Access Ultimate. Basically, you pay one set price and then you get to ride 12 rides once with your passes. This costs €140 and the price can fluctuate depending on the time of year you visit, so it is a very expensive option. With the Premier Access Pass, you are able to join the shorter Premier Access queue for 12 rides. So it's all of the rides that I mentioned earlier, but it does not include Orbitron. That's the only ride not included for some weird reason. You can purchase Premier Access Ultimate in advance with your package for your Disney holiday, or you can purchase it on the day. Purchasing it on the day can be handy if you're staying off-site, but also if you want to get a sense of the wait times and if it's actually worth the money whilst you're there, because if the queues aren't that long, it might not be worth the money for you. Now, what I would say is that you do need to have park hopper tickets to be able to get the most out of this. The 12 rides are split across the 2 parks, so if you are going to be paying for this, you will need a park hopper ticket, or else you're going to miss out on a lot of the rides. I would also say that with Premier Access Ultimate, the rides need to be ones that you want to go on. There are a lot of roller coasters and simulators, so if these are rides that you don't like and skip over, then Premier Access Ultimate is probably not for you. It would be better to purchase individual Premier Access passes if you did want to skip the queues for some rides. So that is everything you need to know about Premier Access and Premier Access Ultimate, but now I'm going to break down the pros and cons of them so you can work out if they're actually worth the cost. So the pros first. The great thing, of course, is that it cuts down your wait time. This really helps you maximise your time in the parks and fit in as many rides as possible. This is particularly great for people who are doing short trips. So if you are visiting Disneyland Paris for maybe only 1 or 2 days, buying Premier Access passes or the Premier Access Ultimate Pass could be worthwhile for you. The great thing about Premier Access for the shows is, as I mentioned, you queue for a much shorter time, you have a guaranteed seat, and you get your pick of any seat in the auditorium, which means you can pick the best view for you. Premier Access and Premier Access Ultimate are great if you're visiting during high season and busy times of the year. During those times of the year, it can be very long wait times, often over an hour for rides, which is no fun and really cuts down the amount of rides you can get on during your day. So having Premier Access passes for your most popular and favourite rides, or the Premier Access Ultimate Pass so you can get on lots of rides, is a really good option. One of my top tips is think about buying it on the day. The great thing about this is you could visit the parks and realise maybe it's not as busy as you anticipated, and in that way you're only paying out if you absolutely need to. The cons are that not all the rides at Disneyland Paris are included. Now, it does include the most popular rides. This is going to kind of benefit the most amount of people, but if you don't like things like thrill rides or simulators, these things might not be worth the money for you. Another big con is none of the rides in the brand new Avengers Campus are included currently. So if you are looking to skip the queue on those rides, unfortunately at the moment that isn't an option. Another downside is that, of course, this adds money on top of the cost of your holiday. If you were to get individual Premier Access passes, if you're one person, it could be between €5 and €16, but once you're a family or a group and you're 4, 5, 6 people, this very quickly adds up, particularly if you're paying per ride. With Premier Access Ultimate, with prices at €140, this can very quickly add up, especially if you are in a group or a family. It's worth noting that with Premier Access Ultimate, shows are not included. So if you did want to get Premier Access passes for them, you would have to pay for that on top of the Premier Access Ultimate Pass. Another one of the cons is that not all of the rides are the types of rides people want to go on, such as roller coasters or simulators. So if people have motion sickness or just don't enjoy those types of rides, something like Premier Access Ultimate, you just wouldn't get the money's worth out of it, because a lot of those rides are those types. Not all of the rides that offer Premier Access really need it. Stuff like Cars Road Trip fits lots and lots of people in, and it's kind of frequent and it doesn't ever get very long queues. So that ride is one of those things that I wouldn't actually recommend paying for. It is also worth noting that although you will be joining a much shorter queue, there is still going to be a queue. If you're lucky like me, sometimes you can walk straight on, but other times you may still have to queue, but it will always be shorter than the main queue. So that is everything you need to know about Premier Access, Premier Access Ultimate, the costs, and the pros and cons of them. So I hope this has helped you decide whether it's something that would be worthwhile for you or not. Thank you so much for watching this video. I have lots of Disneyland Paris vlogs of my own trip and planning videos, plus Walt Disney World planning videos. So if you do enjoy that type of content, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and check out some of my playlists. And until next time, I hope you have a most magical day. Bye bye.